You can't define your business without having a good branding towards it. And if you don't have this, what's going to effectively happen is you're not going to be able to stand out from the crowd and be able to sell your products in the best way possible, which is obviously what you want. But my name is Sammy. I've been consulting brands, big and small, for the past 4 to 5 years now, and I've been able to see what works, what doesn't work. And in this video, I'm going to go over branding strategies that you can go ahead and implement and basically show you how to create a brand from scratch so that you can go ahead and take it to the next level. So let's get straight into it. So what exactly is a brand? Well, a brand is essentially the reputation that it has and the associations that it has as well. And you want to go ahead and cultivate that in a certain way so that you're able to go ahead and resonate with a group of people and be able to sell your products to them over your competitors. So, what are the main steps that you need to go ahead and implement in order to get a brand strategy that is going to achieve that outcome? Well, I would say there's 6 steps. So, the first one being you want to research your target audience. This is very important. Number 2 is picking brand focus and business personality. The third one being choosing your business name. The fourth one being writing a slogan. This is important as well. The fifth one being the look and the feel of the brand. You need to establish that. And the sixth one is designing your logo. So all of these 6 things combined will allow you to build a brand identity that will allow you to differentiate yourself from your competitors. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to go ahead and create an imaginary jewelry brand. And this is going to just show you exactly how I would run through the whole process of creating a brand for a completely new company from scratch. And when it comes to research and target audience, which is the first step, you want to go ahead and look at certain things regarding sort of the target demographics that you want to be trying to reach. And you can do this with a simple Google search.
Another thing, so what you can do here is you can go ahead and search for the audience demographic. In this case, because it's a jewelry brand that I'm demonstrating here, I'm looking for jewelry brand audience demographic, so we spell this correctly. You can find particular websites here where you can go ahead and research, do some audience research, such as Brand Watch. You've got CME Jewelry here, which is particular for jewelry brands. But there's some other ones here, just with a simple Google search, which you can go ahead and be able to do some market research. For example, there's this website here, which is going to dive deep into the jewelry market size for each of the locations. For example, Europe, United States, and sort of what best sells and the type of active shoppers. For example, married 25 to 34-year-old women with an average salary, right? So you can go ahead and find this information via Google, and this will give you reliable information that you can go ahead and use to cultivate your new brand. Another thing that you can go ahead and use, and is probably going to help you even more, is using ChatGPT. And in this situation, what I've gone and done is I've asked them to go ahead and create a target demographic for the new jewelry brand that is hypothetical here. And they've gone ahead and they've showed me the target demographic as well as what psychographic information they can provide. So the lifestyle, the values, the interests, so on and so forth, as well as behavioral information as well. So this is something that you can go ahead and implement for the new brand that you want to create as well. And you'll be able to get this information pretty much within a second. So it's a very valuable tool that you can use as well. Also, you want to consider the competitors that will be competing with your brand. So, for example, I've gone ahead and searched for jewelry brand competitors, and it comes up with a list of them. So, for example, you've got big publications like Elle who are showing these competitors, and they provide information based on that. So, you want to go ahead and look at that for your own brand and market, and you want to essentially cultivate that as well. But you can also ask ChatGPT and just ask it for jewelry brand competitors, for example, right? And you will come up with sort of a list of that themselves as well. So very important that you do that so you're able to understand what is working in the market, how can you go ahead and innovate on what is working and use that for your own brand. So that's sort of the step that you can go ahead and take when it comes to trying to cultivate a new brand. You can also look at Reddit groups, which will help you to understand what people's opinions are related to what's in your niche. And that's very important and underutilized by a lot of people because they feel that Reddit is not as valuable as it could be. But in actuality, it's a good place to find very authentic opinions based on what's in your target market, on a particular product or particular brand. And you can definitely use this for gain more intel on how you should go ahead and brand your products and your whole company as a whole. Another thing that you can go ahead and do is go ahead and create focus groups. So these are particularly a thing that a lot of people that overlook as well when they're starting the brand. But what you want to do here is you want to get a focus group. So what does that mean? It means a group of people who will be able to give you opinions on a brand or product, or give you information on what they actually like in a particular brand or product, and they can give you feedback on anything that you want. So in this case, because we're creating a brand, we may want them to give us opinions based on how they feel about a particular competitor, or how they feel about a particular product that we may be selling in the future, and what they particularly like in general. So this is a very important step as well. So obviously, when you do a Google search, you can go ahead and find several places where you can go ahead and get a focus group or procure one. For example, you can use user interviews. So these are participants for focus groups. You can go ahead here and just search it and be able to create a focus group. And then you want to jump online with them and ask some questions related to sort of the product that you're trying to sell, as well as the brand that you're trying to create as well. And from that point, you'll be able to gain valuable information regarding what you should do when it comes to creating a brand.
Now, the second step after you've done some initial audience research and brand research is you want to go ahead and create a brand focus and a business personality. So, what does this actually mean? It means that you're going ahead and give your brand some personality, as the name suggests, and you're going to allow it to have some differentiation between its competitors and sort of have its own voice. So, in this part, you want to go ahead and create a position statement. And this is 1 to 2 lines that explains how you and your brand is different from the competitors. And this is very important because you obviously want to stand out as much as possible. So doing this step is very important. So how do you do this? Well, you can go ahead and use ChatGPT again, and this will allow you to have more autonomy over what sort of brand position you can make. Obviously, ChatGPT is very helpful as it can create generated lines. You can ask it to create 10 taglines and sort of value propositions that you can go ahead and use. And then you can, from that point on, you can go ahead and just say, okay, I find one here that I like. I want to go ahead and amend it more. And you can get ChatGPT to do that for you. So let me just show an example.
So what I've gone and done here is I've asked ChatGPT to go ahead and create a couple of taglines for this imaginary jewelry brand, and this is going to help to give the brand some personality and help it to differentiate it from its competitors. And what it's going to done is giving me 5 taglines. Obviously, you can ask it for more if you want, but here is giving me some examples. So here, for example, it said, "Adorn yourself sustainably, spark consciously, where sustainability meets sophistication, embrace elegance, embrace the earth, jewelry for mindful muse, crafted with love and purpose." So these are brilliant taglines that we can go ahead and use for our brand. Obviously, you only need one, and that's going to be enough for you to go ahead and create a brand personality.
Also, it's important to note that when you create this brand personality and the brand focus, that you're actually doing this for the people that you're trying to target. So remember, when you're creating a brand, it's not particularly about what you think of it, it's about what your target market thinks of the brand. So you have to really make sure you do the first step correctly, which is audience research, and ideally ask people what do they think of the brand so you have an understanding of how it's perceived, and then you can go ahead and make amendments to it. Now, the third step after you've created a brand personality is to come up with a brand name. Now, usually you can pretty much interchange this with the second option, i.e., you could create the brand name before you create a brand personality, but it's usually easier to create it after you create a brand personality so you understand how it's going to fit in with that. So, how do you make up a name? Well, there's multiple ways you could do it. One way is you can just make up a name out of nothing, out of thin air, and this will also make it unique and make it stand out and make it recognizable, which is what we want. Another option is that you can combine two words together. So you could get two words like spark, mountains. That's just an example that came at the top of my head. And you can see what I did there. I combined the word spark with mountains, and that will sort of create a unique name that you can use for anything. You can use it for water bottle, for example, or a bottle of water, and that will pretty much create a unique brand. And you can go ahead and use it, sell it to the market, and it'll be unique. So that's one way of doing that. Another way is you could buy multiple words or use multiple words and then combine it into an acronym. So, for example, BMW have done this, where they've gone ahead and used multiple words, and then they just taken the initials of those words and then combined it to create the brand name. Another way that you can do it is you can go ahead and use tools, which will help you to create names and generate names. So obviously the first one you could use is ChatGPT. That will help you to create names. You could ask it for a list of 20 names based on the brand personality, and it will give you some. Another place you can go is Shopify Business Name Generator. This is another place where you can go and they give you very good name suggestions. Also, you can use Obolo Business Generator, and that will help you to create names. Also, but you can also go ahead and Google search name generator if you also want to do that as well. Another place that I like is using unisex names. Now, this helps to create a unique name as well, because unisex names tend to be quite unique. So you could go ahead and Google unisex name generator, and it will come up with loads of different uh, websites where you can go and visit and allow you to find unique names that way. After you got the brand name, a fourth step that you need to take is you want to create a slogan. So this is different from sort of the brand personality and the tagline that you created, but it can also tie into the sort of slogan as well. Usually the slogan is shorter, and this is going to allow you to create a more valuable but also succinct description of your brand. So, for example, Nike have the slogan, just do it. Very short, very straight to the point, and it's really abstract, and it gives you an idea of what they mean. But that's the sort of short tagline that you want, slogan, in terms of trying to resonate with your target market. Also, you've got brands like Red Bull. You use it gives you wings. Now, it's very abstract as well. What does that exactly mean? We don't know, but it's an energy drink, so it's tied in together, and that's really the sort of aura that you want to create, or the presentation of the brand. So you can use, again, you can use Shopify Slogan Maker if you want to make up these slogans, or you could use ChatGPT as well, which will help you to create slogans. It's just as simple as typing in, give me 5 slogans for this brand that I'm trying to create, and we'll go ahead and give you some, and then you can go ahead and mend it from there. And there you have your slogan. So after you create your slogan, the next step would be to create a brand color and feel. This is step 5. And this is very important because brand colors is what makes a large portion of the brand identity. And remember that people are visual creatures. They are quite receptive to colors, and different colors have different meanings. So let's dive into what these meanings are, and then we can go ahead and use that information to create a palette where we can go ahead and use it for our brand.
So, in terms of creating a color palette, here's what I've gone down. I've asked ChatGPT to give me a color palette for this brand, right? And it's gone ahead and done that. It's given me 5 suggestions here. So, the first one here has been deep forest green. You got soft gold, rich burgundy, warm terracotta, dusty rose. Again, these are very different colors which have very different meanings. So, for example, deep forest green, it symbolizes growth, renewal, and harmony with nature, as I'm sure you've made this association yourself when you think of a deep forest green. You also have soft gold. This is conveying elegance, luxury, and timeless sophistication. And this is also a very good point as well, because when you're thinking of the brand that you're trying to create, you obviously want to make sure that you have sort of a very unique color scheme, or one that actually conveys the branding that you're trying to portray. So very important that you take that into account. But in terms of the color palette, once you have that information, you can go to Coolers, and this is an app where you can go ahead and create fast color palettes. And you can go ahead and create one of these. So if we start the generator, this is another way in which you can go ahead and create color schemes if you're stuck. So here we've got pretty much our colors here. So as we talked about, we want to go for deep forest green. Now, in terms of the colors, it's pretty much a case of just experimenting and seeing what you like. But let's say you went for this one. Well, you can go ahead and use that. Now you have the colors, and you can use this on your website with your images, with your branding, and this will help you to cultivate that branding. So you pretty much use that, and then from that point onwards, you now have sort of a color that you can use. And if you want to change the colors, then you can go ahead and make those changes. So, for example, you can go ahead and choose a generator method. This is more advanced, but that's if you want to get creative with it. And you can also go back and start a generator again, or explore training palettes. And then you can go ahead and choose ones that you like. So obviously these are very different, and you want to take into account what you've had chosen before. So let's say we had the deep forest green, right? You can even ask ChatGPT for the color scheme of that. So let's ask that. So colors hex of deep forest green, right? And this will help you to get the hex code, which we have here, and then you can go ahead and put that in to the generator. And there we go. We now have a color scheme for that, and you can repeat that process with the other colors which was given in ChatGPT. Also, you want to take into account the fonts that we use when it comes to using the brand and trying to create the brand. So what I've gone ahead and done again is I've asked ChatGPT, can you give me 2 fonts that I could use for this brand? And obviously you only want to use 2 max, because if you start using more of that, it's going to start getting confusing for the visitor and the target market. So in this case, we've got Play Fair Display and Lato. So they've gone ahead and told us, what font should we use for this brand? And this is what suggestions that they have. So Play Fair Display is quite a serif font. So if we go ahead and type that in, you'll find that it's quite a sort of smart looking font. It's quite formal, but it's also playful as well. And then you have Lato. So Lato, I'm sure you're common with, is also another type of unique brand, so a unique font, as you can see here. Very sans serif type of brand font. So obviously you want to take that into account. Another place you can go as well is to look at the font as well. So the font is basically a place where you can go ahead and look at particular fonts, and you're going to find very unique fonts here that you can go ahead and choose from. So that's what you do when it comes to fonts.
And finally, but not least, is the logo. Now, the logo is something that you do after you create the brand name, the personality, so on and so forth, and you've done the previous steps. And in this 6th step, you want to create the logo, and you want to decide what type of logo you want to use for this brand. So what you can go ahead and do is outsource this to people on Fiverr or to Shopify Expert Marketplace, or you could take it to Upwork as well, and you're going to be able to find the key very good designers who can go ahead and create a logo for your brand that you will most likely like. Obviously, you can create a mock-up first, which I highly recommend, so they have an idea of what type of logo that you're looking for, so they can go ahead and refine that. And then from that point onwards, you can use that and use it for your brand. Now, obviously, you want to take into account what your competitors are doing as well, and you may want to differentiate yourself based on that. For example, Adidas have an emblem logo, and this is more or less abstract, I would say. I wouldn't call it emblem, to be fair. It's very abstract, and they really try to create an aura of mystery and sort of make it stand out from the other shoe brands that are out there. You also have emblem logos as well, such as Starbucks, where they have an emblem of sort of character there with the green background that's also something that you may want to consider when creating a logo, is that whether or not you want to use more symbolic logos or you want to go down the road of a more abstract one. So bear that in mind when you want to create this logo. And you can also use Hatchful Logo Maker, and that way you're going to be able to create logos as well. So that's pretty much the 6 steps that you can follow in order to create your brand identity for your brand, and that will give you a robust personality to the brand, which you can go ahead and use in your marketing. So that's pretty much the conclusion of the video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to follow, as I do videos like this every single week, and I'll see you in the next video.